A fee is being proposed that would affect Beaufort vehicle owners and nonprofit organizations. A water main failure resulted in a boil advisory, and WHHI caught up with newly elected Mark Sanford at Business for Breakfast. We'll bring you all that and much more. Keep watching Beaufort. Your news starts now. Thank you for joining us for the Beaufort News. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and here are your local headlines. A fee is being proposed in an effort to raise additional funds for the city of Beaufort. The recommended new fee would apply to nonprofit organizations and vehicle owners and would likely take effect on June 1st, which is the beginning of the new fiscal year. The proposal includes charging a potential $40 for registered vehicles and a 0.01% property tax for nonprofit groups as well. The payments would bring an additional $620,000 to the city over the course of the year. The effort, which was proposed by City Manager Scott Dadson, was presented on Tuesday and is expected to go into a first vote sometime this week. After a precautionary boil advisory, the Beaufort-Jasper Water and Sewer Authority and the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control announced that the latest water sample is safe and is ready to consume as normal. The precautionary advisory to boil water to be used for drinking and cooking in parts of St. Helena Island was issued on Wednesday due to a water main failure, resulting in a substantial drop in pressure. The situation allowed for the possibility of bacteria to enter the public drinking water system. Tests now show that the drinking water in the area is free from all harmful bacteria. The selections of 4 school principals were approved recently by the Beaufort County Board of Education. The new principals will take the top positions at Beaufort Elementary, Hilton Head Island Middle, St. Helena Elementary, and St. Joseph S. Shanklin Elementary Schools. Principals selected were Nicole Holloman, who has served as the assistant principal at Broad River Elementary, Celestine Levon, who has served as the assistant principal at Shanklin, Gary McCullough, who has served as a principal in Maryland School, and Gregory Stickle, who served as a middle school principal in Ohio. All were chosen by an interview team that included the district's new superintendent, Jeffrey Moss. In a mission to be the top team in the state, participants from an amateur barbecue team will compete at the High on the Hog Barbecue Festival this weekend. The event, taking place on the 7th and 8th, will feature teams cooking in the barbecue competition and even a non-barbecue competition of Lowcountry favorites. Other entertainment will include the Brewer Band and the Groove Tones, who will play at Whitehall Plantation. The winner of the event will take home awards and cash prizes. The event runs Friday evening from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday from noon to 4. A challenge by Mayor Billy Kaiserling led to a 5th grader serving as honorary mayor for a day recently. On Tuesday, Jacoby Days was a student at Beaufort Elementary School who was selected because he met the mayor's challenge of casting more than 1,000 votes for Candace Glover in the finale. As mayor for a day, Jacoby met with police officers and firefighters and even attended a budget meeting. Over the course of the final 10 weeks of American Idol, Jacoby, with the help of his family, cast over 213,000 votes for Candace Glover. And in a special Around the State, we go to Libby on location, who caught up with newly elected U.S. Congressman Mark Sanford at Business for Breakfast. Kevin?
Thanks, Jessa. It was a muggy morning in Beaufort as the Chamber hosted a breakfast talk and Q&A session with our Congressman, Mark Sanford.
We all enjoyed watching on C-SPAN your swearing in with Speaker Boehner. Do you have a say in your committee assignment?
It's a new draw. It's not a particularly great draw because it's equivalent of chairs at the table and all the seats are taken because you're stepping in basically midway in the ball game. Most of the committee assignments have been filled, and so you know, in this 14-month period, I won't get the pick of the litter. But the hope is, after you get through this Congress, and if you get reelected and go in the next Congress, then past seniority begins to have an impact, past relationships begin to have an impact, and you got a blank slate to choose from. So my real eye is from 14 months to now. We'll see what happens here. Probably this week. I'll probably get my committee assignment this week.
Outstanding. And speaking of this week, we have the Defense Authorization Bill coming up. We're expecting a vote this week on that bill. Is there anything in that bill that is going to serve the Lowcountry?
I think there's some money for local school here. Most of the F-35 stuff was actually dealt in last year's authorization and appropriation process. So there's money for one of the military schools, and that's it actually in this funding.
We heard last week that John McCain went over to Syria and was actually embedded for a little bit with some of the Syrian rebels. My question to you is, have you been briefed at all on the Syrian situation, and what is your general impression of our current foreign policy?
Not yet. I used to be on the Foreign Operations Committee, and that was when I was last in Congress. Again, have not yet gotten a committee assignment, so have not been briefed on that front. I would doubt that I would end up on Foreign Ops again, just because I know that all those slots are taken for at least this Congress.
High priority committee for sure.
Yeah, and what I'd say is I've been reading what you all have been reading, and I think a lot of people are obviously quite anxious about what comes next over that way.
Our Congressman Mark Sanford, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
From the Hilton Garden on location, I'm Kevin Libby. Back to you.
Thanks, Kevin. If you'd like additional information on these headlines, you can reference the media sources you see listed on your screen. Also, you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. When we return, we'll bring you the Beaufort Business Report on location, and the Island News joins us to tell us what is hot off the press. That's next.
Lowcountry Real Estate is located in historic downtown Beaufort, home to one of the most attractive real estate markets in America. We've been providing high-quality service to our community for the past 24 years. Whether you're interested in buying or selling residential, resort, or commercial investment property, our professional sales staff can help you with your real estate needs. Please visit lowcountryrealestate.com for details on all available properties in Beaufort, and come see how the Lowcountry becomes you.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Joining us first is Miss Pamela Brownstein with the Island News here with our Hot Off the Press report. Welcome, Pamela.
Hey, Jessa.
So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but give us a little more information about the 4 district schools that are getting brand new principals, if you would.
Sure. The Beaufort County Board of Education recently selected new principals at Beaufort Elementary, Hilton Head Island Middle, Joseph S. Shanklin Elementary, and St. Helena Elementary School. So there will be a lot of fresh new faces during the start of the next school year.
Absolutely. I know that was quite the selection process too. So great thing for those schools. Now talk to us a little bit about graduation, if you would.
Sure. Public high schools north of the Broad River will be having their graduations this week, including Beaufort High, Battery Creek, and Whale Branch Early College, and since Friday is the last day of school. So congrats to the class of 2013.
Absolutely. Congratulations to them. And now I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. Let's talk about grilling, summer safety. Summer and outdoor cookouts are definitely ahead of us. So give us some tips for safe grilling this summer, if you would.
Sure. Beaufort Fire Chief Sammy Negron has some simple tips for outdoor grilling, including only using propane and charcoal grills outside, keeping pets and children at least 3 feet away from a hot grill, keep your grill clean, and never leave a lit grill unattended. And most importantly, always keep a fire extinguisher handy.
All right, perfect. And do you have any recommendations, or I know some of the firefighters sometimes partner with us on this one, if a blaze does break out in the backyard, what should we do?
If a blaze does break out in your backyard, firefighters urge people to call 911 first instead of fighting the fire on your own. All
right, perfect. And real quick, I want to ask you about summer reading at the library this summer. Talk to us about how readers can get involved in the reading program at Beaufort County Libraries.
Sure. Each summer, the Beaufort County Library is involved with a huge summer reading program for patrons of all ages. Library users can register online at BeaufortCountyLibrary.org, or they can register in person at their local library branches. The requirement is the completion of 5 simple, fun, library-related activities, and it's a great way to keep everyone reading and active during the summer.
All right, Pamela Brownstein with our Hot Off the Press report. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Don't forget to pick up a free copy of the Island News.
Next, we're joined by the Beaufort Regional Chamber with a special on-location business report, so take a look.
The The unemployment rate continues to decline here in Beaufort County and throughout the state of South Carolina. Back in March, we saw an 8.4% unemployment rate throughout the Palmetto State. That's now down to 8.0. Here in Beaufort County, it's down to 6.1%, which is the lowest rate we've seen since 2008. The Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Blakely Williams. Talk a little bit about what do these trends mean here in Beaufort County?
Well, we're seeing some great trends, and unemployment is at its lowest level in over 5 years. That's great news. We're also seeing some interest from the South Carolina Department of Commerce, which we hope will lead to some big announcements. The Coastal Living Happiest Seaside Town and the passing of the film bill in May should yield amazing results for us in the future. In fact, I heard from the Film Commission just this morning that there's a lot of film interest already coming to town.
What do you think that will really mean for the future and these unemployment numbers?
It's great news for us to capitalize on as a community. Being the happiest seaside town means that people will want to relocate their business here, that their employees will be happy here, and that they'll be satisfied and have a great quality of life. Our realtors should see a real improvement in their numbers. Every industry could really get behind that designation of being America's happiest seaside town.
The military is obviously an important part of our economy here. So what kind of impact do you think that sequestration and these furloughs will have on this area?
Well, that's something that we've got to watch every single day, and that's something that the Beaufort Chamber is fighting. It has the potential to have a huge impact on our local economy. So many people's employment is tied to the military bases here in town, so it's important that we keep those bases growing and healthy and preserving their role in national defense. Any cuts in D.C. will affect life in Beaufort. Well, we'll be planning a trip to D.C. in July. We've got a great story to tell about the efficiencies of Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort Paris Island and the Naval Hospital. We've got to make sure that our elected officials can tell that story and that they know that Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort is the best place to do business for the military.
As the Chamber, we like to honor and recognize all those amazing people in our community who really make a difference and make it a wonderful place to live and to work. We do that at our annual meeting and Civitas Awards, which will take place on June 28th at Dawtaw Island. We invite all of you to come and join us. For more information, you can visit our website at BeaufortChamber.org or call the Chamber directly. For the Beaufort Business Report, I'm Jaime Dailey-Vergara. Back to you.
After the break, we'll tell you why two groups, the United Way of the Lowcountry and Friends of Hunting Island State Park, are making news, so stick around.
Alison Ramsey Architects believes that good design is a result of a collaborative effort between the architect, the builder, and most importantly, the client. The Lowcountry lifestyle incorporates all aspects of the home, and good design reflects the character of a family. No longer items of luxury, good design is standard. Let us help you craft a home built with everyday living in mind. Alison Ramsey Architects, creating sustainable, timeless design.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Joining us now is Katie Phifer, who is a board member of the United Way of the Lowcountry. Now, Katie, I want to ask you first about the Women's Leadership Council of the United Way. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. The Women's Leadership Council was founded in 2012 here locally. It's actually in over 100 communities across the country nationally, but both at that national level and here locally, our group is dedicated to mobilizing the power of women to do good in the community.
And who is eligible to join the Women's Leadership Council?
Yeah, we would encourage any woman who is looking to become a more active philanthropic leader, or who wants to become more active in volunteering and advocating for improving the quality of education, the quality of healthcare, and economic opportunities for those in our community.
And you have an event coming up this Wednesday evening. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, so we are very excited to be hosting our first event in a series of community conversations. We are fortunate enough to be featuring Doug Pardue. Doug is a journalist with the Post and Courier, and he's recently written and directed a documentary titled Forgotten South Carolina. And in that documentary, Doug really focuses on those across our state with limited access to that quality of education and quality health care or economic opportunity. So Doug will present his findings, and then we will be encouraging participants to start taking part in this conversation on how we might impact that issue here at the local level in Beaufort and Jasper County.
Wonderful. And now you've got some other events coming up. Talk to us about what you have going on over the next 12 months or so.
Yeah, so we are really excited. We have our first fundraising event will be in March of 2014, and we're calling it the Power of the Purse event. And it is a fundraiser, but it will also be an opportunity for us to recognize and celebrate the women's leadership within our community.
All right, some exciting things going on. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about that Leadership Council of the United Way of the Lowcountry. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Joining us now is Bonnie Wright, who is the Vice President of Friends of Hunting Island State Park. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you for having me, Jessa.
Good to have you. Now first, just tell us a little bit about Friends of Hunting Island State Park and what you do there.
Well, we are an 800-plus family membership, which we are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. We are an independent, all-volunteer, nationally recognized nonprofit organization who supports Hunting Island State Park.
Wonderful. And now I understand that there was a special license plate introduced. So talk to us about when this was introduced and why.
It was introduced back in '07 to help us with a long-term fundraiser, because what we do out at the park has expanded and diversified over the years, and membership dues and grants and so forth just couldn't handle some of the projects. And so far since 2007, that revenue stream has come into approximately $70,000, which has helped us to paint the lighthouse exterior in 2009, buy educational interactive touch screens for the Nature Center. Also this year we had to do some maintenance repairs on the cupola, windows and doors of the lighthouse, and all these funds help to do that, accomplish that.
Absolutely, what a great way to raise some funds. And now, how much money does Friends of Hunting Island get from each plate, and how is it used specifically?
Well, what I just explained, what we did with the lighthouse were from those funds, and an individual plate is $50 for the special plate, and we get $45 of that back.
Okay, perfect. And how do viewers go about getting one of those Hunting Island license plates?
You need to fill out a Form M95. You go to any of your local DMV offices, fill out the form, and you don't have to wait. You can do it anytime, and they will prorate the fee, and you can go home with your license plate.
All right, perfect. Great information, Bonnie. Thank you so much for joining us from Friends of Hunting Island State Park. We will get right on that, so thanks so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, we have Councilman Joe Lee with our Port Royal report, and we'll go on location for a very special entertainment report. That's after the break.
Is it time to purchase for the one-of-a-kind person in your life? Over 60 years of service distinguishes Modern Jewelers as one of South Carolina's preeminent jewelry stores.
We're proud to have been voted Beaufort's #1 jewelry store 10 years in a row. Come visit us at 807 Bay Street.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Joining us now is Councilman Joe Lee, who joins us to tell us what's making news in Port Royal. Now, Joe, I know there's some big things happening around July 4th, so talk to us about that.
Sure will, Jessa. This is one of the annual events in Port Royal. For over 20 years, Port Royal has been hosting a fireworks display on the sands on Battery Creek, and various years it's either been an all-day event or a half-day event, and more recent years it's been an evening event. And this year it's going to be bigger than ever.
And what is new this year as opposed to years previous?
Well, the thing that we're looking forward to this year is there's been in the news the fact that Paris Island has decided not to do their fireworks show this year. In years past, you could sit at the Sands in Port Royal and see 2 shows. This year, though, they're not going to do their show, but they indicated that they would allow us to host their band for our show. So the Marine Corps band will be giving a concert on the Sands in Port Royal at about 7:30 while it's still daylight, and in advance of the big fireworks show at Port Royal.
All right, great. So some wonderful events to attend. Is there anything else being scheduled?
Well, yes, I think the way you're going to be able to find out what's going on is stay tuned to this program, because as we do the planning in the next couple of weeks, I'll let you know on Beaufort News. We think there will be some travel changes so that we'll make access to the beach easier for people, and I hope that will, I'll relay that to everyone on TV.
All right, perfect. And I wanted to ask you about a couple other things. The Port Royal shrimp docks are busy. What's going on there?
Well, the season has just started, and the shrimpers are out. The initial reports are moderate in terms of the catch, but we're happy that finally the season is open, and the boats are out. And we look forward to great fresh shrimp offshore South Carolina.
All right, sounds like fun. And you wanted to say thanks to some folks, right, Joe?
I sure did. I want to thank everyone, the teachers and the parents of the school children who were able to visit the wetlands here at the end of the school year. Many of the classes came by bus and had an outing at our wetlands and rookery and got to see the birds. And it's a great treat for the kids, and the town is really proud to have been able to show that off to these children.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing that, Joe. And thank you for your Port Royal report. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Wendy Pollitzer, who brings us our entertainment report on location. Wendy?
Thanks, Jessa. I'm at the Beaufort Yacht and Sailing Club, and with me is Millage Webb, the general manager of the club and longtime Beaufortonian. Millage, you have been coming here since you were a kid yourself, right?
Yeah, my parents were some of the original members as well as my grandparents, and I went to camp here. I was a lifeguard here, and just kind of grew up playing around here, and 15 years later they called and gave me a job here, so here I am. So it's definitely been a lifelong thing.
So Millage, I understand that you are offering something new to the Beaufort Yacht and Sailing Club this year that you've never offered before. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
We're going to have a recreational kind of swim club here. It's not as intense as, say, the YMCA swim teams or school swimming teams. It's more for stroke development and mechanics. We're also lucky enough to have a college level diving coach here that'll be teaching competitive diving mechanics off of our diving board. We're really lucky at the Beaufort Yacht and Sailing Club because we have a 12-foot deep dive well in our pool, so we can safely do that. And we'll, have little swim meets and practices 3 days a week, so it's going to be a lot of fun there. I also have 2 camps going this summer. I have Learn to Sail Camp through Beaufort Junior Sailing, and that's the U.S. Sailing's level 1 through 4 for kids ages 8 to 14. And then I have my regular BYSC camp, which is your more traditional day camp, where they do arts and crafts, games, swimming, fishing, crabbing, boating, all your different paddle sports, paddle boarding, kayaking, sailing, pretty much enjoying all the stuff that's good about the Lowcountry in the summertime. Another really special program we're offering is we're going to have a marine science camp for children ages 8 to 13, and that'll go in the first week of August. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's really special here. They haven't really done anything like that around here yet, and so it's kind of a new program for us. And that'll go over loggerhead sea turtle biology, basic fish biology, dolphin biology, shark biology, and a bunch of other stuff. I have 2 marine biologists on staff, and I'm going to bring in a bunch of guest speakers and things like that, and we're going to do some field trips. And I'm really excited about that. We got a lot going on this summer. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So, Millage, what can parents and adults do here for fun?
We have an active sailing and regatta program, but one of the things we offer to the public, come and check us out, is on every Friday at 6 p.m. we have Sunset Friday. Folks can come out, sit back on the porch. We have a kind of a member bar. You throw $1 in the cup, and we have usually 2 premium beers and various wines and stuff like that for people to enjoy. And everybody just kind of sits on the porch, watch the sun go down, enjoys each other's company, enjoys the Lowcountry. The kids go to the pool, the kids go to the playground, and the folks just kind of hang out. We have a full clubhouse, and a bar on the back porch as well. So it's a lot of fun. It's nice.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Go ahead and call us at 843-522-8216, or you can email me at bysc@islc.net for more information.
That sounds great, Millage. Thanks for having us here at Beaufort Yacht and Sailing Club. Back to you.
Thanks, Wendy, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. Join us next time for your Beaufort News.